All right, so Power Hour. I think this is number 3 Power Hour for us. And this one is all focused on the first appointment. So this one is going to be focused on the wellness assessment, doing a great wellness assessment and serving your prospective member on the highest level. And then the flip book, being able to determine their need and their why and their wants that they have for OsteoStrong and connecting that to the flip book and positioning OsteoStrong as their best, best and maybe even only option for their betterment, the betterment of their health and wellness and the strengthening of their muscular skeletal system. So this is what we're talking about today. Now, having said that, because the time that we're in right now, we are not, there's so many of us not able to be open and functioning centers. And so we might need to get a little creative here. And I can tell you, you guys, I'm about to give you a secret that I don't even know if I'm supposed to say. Is Cassie on? Cassie's not on. Don't tell her I told you this. But wouldn't it be cool if you could do a first full appointment online and do a phone wellness assessment with somebody and sign somebody up during this closed time, be able to offer them an awesome offer and get about 50 members during this closed time alone? Wouldn't that be great? I know, this is so exciting. So just stay tuned on that, and we'll be able to give you more information on that later. But as we move through this, I want you to keep in mind, no matter if we're doing it in person or we're doing it over the phone or over technology, it's all the same. The process is still the same. The mindset is still the same. The energy is still the same, and the service is still the same. And if you can get really good at this, sky's the limit for you. Okay, so these are just tools. Now, I will say, I've been through this process before of having to shut doors for an extended period of time. It was not 2 months, it was 17 days. And I was in a bricks and mortar setting, and the first thing that I had to do was kind of mourn the fact, like just mourn the fact that things aren't going to be the same when I open back up. So I had to go through a little mourning process, right? But then I was able to quickly say, I'm going to need to rebuild. This is the reality. I'm going to need to rebuild, and I'm okay with that. I have better tools now than I did when I first opened, when I was a brand new baby business builder. I have better tools now, so I'm not starting over, I'm just starting again. Okay, so when you're able to open back up, you're not starting over, you're just starting again with better tools, better knowledge, a better vision, and more wisdom, more experience. So you're in a really great position. I'm not going to fill you full of rainbows and butterflies. I know that things suck right now. I get it. But I will say that if we can remove the emotion for a moment and say, but what do we have our hands on? And how can we use it? And how can we make this happen? Things will happen, right? We can push through this. You guys are awesome. So let's move into, okay, I see a couple more people just jumped on. Awesome. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you guys. Give me just a second. All right, here we go. So selling memberships. Again, wrap your brain around the purpose of this, the why behind this, and how can we do this same thing in a one-on-one, person-to-person situation, the same thing that we do there, how can we make this happen via the internet? How can we make this happen via phone call, okay? Outside of a one-on-one. So here is a welcome and a tour strategy. Typically when a person first comes in, the first thing that they need is a warm embrace or eye contact of some type, right? So knowing that they're seen, knowing that they're heard, and getting some kind of personal, personal emotional transference there. You want to act as though you're very familiar with them, okay? So like you've known each other forever. If you've given them a call to set their appointment, or you've given them a call to confirm their appointment, you've heard their voice, they've heard your voice. So treat them during their appointment like you guys go way back, right? Like you've known them forever. You want to mirror and match their energy. Now, we talked about this last week on Friday. If you didn't get a chance to see the DISC Power Hour, that was a lot of fun. And it kind of enlightened us as far as how we can mirror and match other people to help them feel more comfortable in our environment and give them the best experience that they can have at OsteoStrong. We want to manage their expectations. Always manage expectations. There's so much uncertainty in a person already just because we're nervous about something new. We're nervous about moving forward. This is just regularly. So it's important for us to always let them know what to expect during our appointment, how long it's going to take, what we're going to do during that time, and then the lever. Let them know that you're going to be offering them an awesome discount should they decide to become a member today. Let them know that. I can't tell you how many times I walked into a center and if somebody starts drawing things on my,
Oops.
drawing those things, it's fine to draw lines, but if you start drawing anything that's not okay, but what you'll do with that lever is making sure that they're ready to make a purchasing decision. I don't know how many times I have seen in centers before that that they will go all the way through the entire process, and then they'll come to sit down and tell them about the price programs, and they'll go, oh gosh, no, I didn't know I was supposed to be making a decision today. I need to think about this. So it's really important to lever them during that time. This is right up front, okay? You want to become their guide, so you want to come alongside of them. You want to move with confidence and excitement, but you want to come alongside that person as their guide. Nobody needs a hero in their own story except for them. Everybody likes to be the hero of their own story, so you just be their guide. The strategic tour. Okay, now, again, we got to get a little bit, yes, Ilias, he's holding up Building a Story Brand book. Yeah, you're reading that, aren't you? Yeah, how do you like it so far, buddy?
Nice, because you said about the heroes and guides and whatever. That's why it came in my mind. I'm just reading it these days. Nice book.
I love it. That's exactly where this comes from. So yeah, becoming the guide to somebody's hero story. See, so I'm not just making stuff up. I'm using things that have been known for years and years. The movie industry is big on that. They can almost in every movie, iconic movie, Rocky, Star Wars, Space Jam is iconic, right? But all those iconic movies, the hero typically has a guide that comes alongside them, and that's all we're trying to do is become a guide to their hero story. Okay, so let's move on to a strategic tour. I will say that it's going to be kind of tough to do a strategic tour when you are selling memberships from home, right? And so, what is from your business?
What's up?
How do you manage this?
What's the matter?
Hey, do you guys, would you mind putting yourself on mute if I can't unmute? Yeah, it doesn't say that I can mute everybody right now as I'm sharing my screen. So if everybody could mute, that'd be awesome. Okay, so the strategic tour. Now, wouldn't it be awesome if you guys had an opportunity to give a tour by them just clicking on a link and seeing your center in a 3D tour, and they're able to click on maybe the biocharger, and then it pops up and says, this is what the biocharger is, and then they can click on the upper growth trigger and it says, this is what the upper growth trigger is, or whatever, but it gives a 3D tour of your center so that they can tour around your center online. Would that be awesome? Wouldn't that be great? Stay tuned. But for this training right here is we do a very strategic tour, okay? It's BBSRR. We want to show them where their belongings go. Typically, a person will walk in with a purse or a bag, and they'll be like clenching it with death grips, like you're not getting my money, right? And and they're just really secure. You want to let them know that they can put their coat down and stay a while. They can put their bag down. They can put things right here because this is where all of our members put their stuff when they come in. And so just a little cubby there. You want to show them where the restroom is. Right now, and as you reopen, the strategy behind this is not just showing them where the restroom is in case they need to tinkle, but because we want to encourage them to wash their hands before we get started. This is going to be kind of one of those reopening strategies that we're going to need to use, is getting everybody to kind of wash their hands before and after they've been in our center. Spectrum. When we move, then the S part of the strategic tour is to move them into the spectrum area and say, this is where the magic happens. This is where everybody's getting the great results that we've been talking about. I don't go into the deep details of the science. That's later on. People don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. So we need to show them that we care before we start overloading them with all the science behind the spectrum. So we just simply say, this is where the magic happens. This is where everybody's getting the awesome results that we've been talking about. And then relationships. So this is, again, we're going to need to get a little bit creative on how we do this, but I've been doing it for years on building a online business. But I think it can be done. We need to introduce them to other members, and we need to introduce them to a coach. Okay, so we need to introduce them and get them building a relationship and a part of our culture before they're a part of a culture, right? So introduce them to a member, and that could be showing some online. It can be showing a testimony, or it can be having a coach come on as third-party credibility and introducing them to a coach during your phone call, something like that. But in the center, you basically just walk them over to the person who's on the Spectrum devices at the time and say, hey, Susie, this is Jane, and she's here for the very first time. Susie, would you mind sharing with Jane some of the benefits that you've gotten because of OsteoStrong? And then Susan will just tell her everything, all the awesomeness about everything here, right? And then Jane will be like, oh, so it's not just them selling, there's third-party credibility there. The next thing that you want to do is edify your coach. Introduce Jane to one of your coaches in a way that is edifying to the coach. And I just recommend saying, this is Ilias. He is one of our best coaches here. He is helping people get incredible results. I can't wait for you to work with him later on today. Because I do a pass off, and I know that Sarah does a pass off. A lot of people do a pass off now, where the sale person is not going to be the one doing the session. They're going to pass it off. So I would introduce Jane to Ilias and say what I just said, but then knowing that I introduced her to Ilias, that's the person I'm going to be sending her to do her first session. Because she's already met him and he already has credibility. And then results. You want to show them results, the results wall, okay? And the results wall is designed to show that the more you come and the more trigger sessions you have, the more benefits that you get here at OsteoStrong. So this can be in the form of a results wall, your strength wall. It can also be, I know a lot of people just put pictures up of their clients, and you can talk about those people. So Jane, earlier you said that you were interested in increasing your bone density. Well, this is Sally. She's been here, she's triggered her body about 52 times, and she has come from osteoporosis into osteopenia. So she is building up her bone density again. Isn't that cool? So you can share a story from your results wall or from your picture gallery that will apply directly to that person. Now, some of this is built in. We have testimonies built into the flip book. So if you are doing online sales, then this will actually kind of just happen with the Flipbook. So step 2, the wellness assessment. So this is really just all about them, okay? If you're in center, after you get done taking them through the results wall, then you ultimately, the way that I transition is, but enough about them, let's talk about you. Come on over, I want to understand your wants and your needs. And we sit down to a wellness assessment. And I use this wellness assessment as a time just to listen, understand what they want, understand what they need, listen, ask powerful questions, heart level questions. Tell me more about that. Bring me up to speed on that. Those are ways to just get a little bit deeper with people. In a one-on-one setting, you can match and mirror their body language. Now, on a like over the phone wellness assessment, you're going to have to give a lot of, okay, I see, yes. You know, you're going to have to give a lot of that verbal feedback. You want to use the wellness assessment to get yeses and to overcome the objection of, I need to ask my significant other, or I'm just not that committed right now. Wellness assessments should be done in a one-on-one setting. A lot of people are using the pen to paper wellness assessment, and that's how I train it in training. So if you were supposed to be in training in Orlando, I would have trained you up on a piece of paper and a pencil, okay? Sitting down and actually taking notes as you're talking to your prospective member and asking questions. That's how I train it up, because I want you to get good at asking more questions, okay? After you get really good at asking really good questions, then you can transfer into online assessment. Okay, so you can transfer onto a digital assessment, if you will. That would be, some people are pumping those out via Zoho, but they're using our same questions that we use on the wellness assessment, but it's just in an electronic form. And what they're finding is that the people that take time to fill that out are typically the people that are going to take time to show up for their appointment, okay? So it's a good way to increase your show rate or to know who's going to show up. It's also been showing that people, since they have time to really think about the questions, they're answering the questions just a little bit deeper. And then when they answer the question and you have it there in front of you in electronic form, you can ask a deeper question. Okay, so I see that you put this here. Tell me a little bit more about that, or what does that mean to you? So you can just basically take their answer and dig a little bit deeper when they fill it out electronically. So, but I want you to get really good at asking really good questions is really the thing behind that, okay? Then you move right into the Flipbook, okay? So the transition that I use here is after we have the wellness assessment discussed, you know, the questions answered, whether that's electronically or in paper, hand to paper writing, I typically will transition with a question that's going to get me a yes, okay? So this is, thank you so much for sharing your needs and your wants with me. Do you mind if I show you how OsteoStrong can work to meet those needs? So I've already gotten a yes answer, and I've told her that I'm going to position OsteoStrong in a way that it meets her needs. Because OsteoStrong can work to meet those needs, is what I'm implying there. So she's going to say yes. So then I walk through the Flipbook. Now, here's what I'll tell you guys. I'm not going to walk you through and train you on the Flipbook with this. We have, because of time right here, we have the Flipbook uploaded into your Fran Connect. Also, I have a Flipbook script in your Fran Connect, and there is a video of me walking walking Cassie all the way through a first appointment that we did our role play in the Connecticut center. So you guys can see that whole entire thing. You can see the Flipbook, use the Flipbook. You can see the script, and you can play with that script a little bit. And then you can also watch the video to see how the energy flows through it. But I'm not going to walk you through all of that because those resources are available for you guys already in your Friend Connect. But I'm going to give you the why behind the flipbook right now. You want to become the expert at this point, okay? So the whole entire time previous to this, you've been the friend to come alongside them. You've been the guide to their hero story. You've been the person to listen to where they are in their life, okay? You've been that person for them through the first part of this appointment. Now you say, okay, great. Now I'm the expert in OsteoStrong and I'm going to lead you to the solution. So you position yourself as an expert in OsteoStrong because you are. You must do something now is an objection that we typically have, like, oh, I'm just going to wait until you guys reopen, or I'm going to just wait until, you know, my bones are really brittle. I'm just going to wait until whatever. I'm going to wait. This is an opportunity to show them that they can't wait, okay? So in that, there's a graph that shows the life cycle of the bones, and this is what's important with that is to show them everybody from birth to age 20 is in a natural growth pattern. But at that ripe old age of around 30, we hit a plateau and everyone starts to decline. That's just the aging process. So what can we do to maybe slow that decline down or stop the decline? Or even better, what can we do to reverse that? Because you have to do something now in order to see that happen. Otherwise, we continue to decline. Okay, so we must do something. What can we do? We must do something now. OsteoStrong is the solution to your needs. That's really what this flip book is painting. That vision that the flip book paints is based on what you told me in your wellness assessment. This OsteoStrong is the best solution to meeting your needs. And I'm going to tie their wants and their needs to almost every page at least once. And it's very simple to do. Like, I remember you telling me that your joints hurt, so this is why. And this is what's going to make them hurt less, okay? Or help that, or take that pain away. Engaging in OsteoStrong can help you have your wants, okay? So it can meet your needs, but you guys know as well as I do that people are willing to make purchasing decisions based on their wants, okay? Based on their wants. Right now, there might be people scaling back in the amount of money that they're spending in different areas of their life, but I will tell you that their needs, they're giving up some of their needs so that they can have some of their wants right now. Even in today's really tough time, they're giving up some of their needs so that they can have their wants. That's crazy, but it just tells you that people's wants drive decisions more sometimes than their needs. So we also want to show them that want to get down on the ground and play with your grandkids, that want to go hiking with your husband, that want to be able to break your world record, that want that you have that's inside of you that you can't let go of. This is the solution to that. This is where you can get that. Okay, so OsteoStrong can help you have your wants. The flip book helps you overcome the objection of time because, again, it's just 15 minutes one time a week. Okay, it overcomes I need to think about it because it tells them we got to get started now. We got to do something now. It overcomes the will it work? Of course it will work. It's working for thousands of people across the globe. And it also overcomes that objection of, you know what, I think I'll just go do yoga, or I think I'll just go swimming, or I think I'll just go walk, right? Because the flip book will show them the 4.2 multiples of your body weight is what's necessary to produce osteogenesis. Then you'll move into the health history and release of liability prior to giving them a session. Okay, now this isn't something that we're going to talk about today, but I want to bring it to light that nobody can get on your equipment without having that release of liability filled out. Okay, this helps you understand any contraindication, identify any contraindications that they might have. It helps you identify any areas where you can provide additional services or an opportunity for an upsell later. This helps you gain understanding of their medical history. The wellness assessment and the health history are two different forms. The wellness assessment allows you to position yourself in a helper format, okay? Before, they were all one form. And what we were seeing is that because there was so much health history, medical discussion happening on the front end, people that are not in the medical world, me, many of you that are not therapists and doctors, we were positioning ourselves in a way, in that way, maybe not knowingly, but it was happening. And so we separated the two forms so that we're coming alongside them on the wellness assessment, identifying needs and wants. Health history and release of liability is, this is what's going on with my health, and based on what I know about my health, I am signing off to do osteostroke. So it becomes a legal form. That's why we separated the two and we put the health history and release of liability together, just so that everybody's clear about that. It keeps your members safe. So having them fill out that health history and release of liability prior to using any of your equipment keeps your members safe. It also keeps your business safe, and it must be done prior to getting on any of the equipment. Okay, so we're going to take a look at, let me fast forward. Okay, so I'm going to stop screen share. The brand new wellness assessment is in your Fran Connect. So if you're using the old wellness assessment, I would recommend, this is a really great time to do a reset with your team and getting into that new wellness assessment, that new form, and learning how to go about that. And again, all of your training videos are available for you in Fran Connect. And if you are not an owner, you may not have access to that. So you may need to ask your owner for access to that, and they can get that to you. Based on what I've just shared, does anybody have any questions, comments, or ideas about how to move forward with this? Okay.
Tammy, hold on. I have a question on like objections even when you're done. We're done with everything after a price presentation. Just maybe, I don't know, ways to maybe like a sentence or so to just like keep the conversation going other than, all right, let me give you a business card and like a pamphlet, you know.
Right, right. So at bare minimum, this is how I train people, and this is typically on-site training. Okay, let me just, the very least that you can do is get a second appointment. Okay, the very least is to get a second appointment, and that might be, you know, in a setting where your center's open, that might just be like, hey, I need to think about it, or I need to ask my significant other, or I just like, I need to ask my doctor, whatever the objection is, saying, I totally understand that, okay? Validate where they are. I totally get that, absolutely, and I wanna make sure that you are equipped to do that with the best knowledge that you have. But let's do this. I wanna set a second appointment so that you can have a session, and you can see the difference of today's session to next week's session, and then we'll discuss this. I'll take it up with my owner or take it up with my manager to see if we can extend this special until you come in next time. How does that sound? Something like that will work. If it's, I need to ask my husband, or my significant other, okay, I don't know what you're going to go home and tell him, right? Or her. I don't know what, because you like push on some things and you pull on some things and it changes your bone density. Like, your husband or your significant other is going to be like, what are you talking about? And no, you're not spending that amount of money on 10 minutes a week, right? So here's what I want to do for you. I would love to invite your significant other in for your second appointment next week. So let's go ahead and set that up. When can you both come in? Because you got to see this in order to understand it, right? And if they're like, yeah, but I don't think they'll come, I don't think blah, blah, blah. That's when you say, that's fine. I'm still going to set you up with a second appointment. Okay, it'll give you some time to discuss things. But then I'm also going to send you home with a link to some of our science. I'm going to send you home, so then you can equip that person with some education. And the reason for that is because they're going to go and be like, well, that sounds like a gym. Why can't you just go to the gym? Okay, so you're going to get these kinds of things. But the least you can do is get a second appointment, and that's okay.
Thank you. That helps a lot.
Yeah. Good.
If I can just make a quick comment. Sometimes people just feel pressured into that second appointment. They keep it and they don't show or they cancel. So we're not really doing that anymore, just because that's been really very, very common. You can kind of get a feel when somebody's really honest about it. But I definitely send them an email with the link to the science. I let them know that I can make an exception for a final complimentary appointment so that they can take advantage of the discount. But I kind of have them call me now because it takes up space, and that space that's being held for them that they may not show to is no longer available for somebody that is interested in coming in.
Absolutely. Something that kind of came up in my mind. I know that you guys are doing end of the month pushes, right? So that's something that I think Mar Vista is doing that works really great. Is at the end of the month, and you'll have to bring everybody up to speed on this, but at the end of the month, they're calling, I think the last 1 week of the month. Is that right, Marisol?
The last week of the month, we'll call members that came in 4 weeks prior within that time that did not sign, and just let them know that we've got a special promotion. We know that you were interested in this for this, and this reason. I thought of you because, and let them know. And it's basically an upgraded membership for a month, no enrollment fee. Depending on what's going on, we may add something else, but yeah.
So I like that because they've already been in, they have done a wellness assessment, they're interested in something, right? But you don't know if it was the money that held them back, you don't know if it was the timing, you don't know what it was that held them back. Maybe it's that they're a C and it takes them a little while to make a decision, right? So you don't know what held them back, but by calling them at the end of the month and saying, we have a super limited offer for a super limited amount of time, we thought of you, would you like to take advantage of this? This is the opportunity to sell them a membership. You've already done all the work, right? But maybe they're in a better position to make a better decision for themselves. So that's a really good end of the month push. It has a time limit. Okay, it's super special and it's super personal because they call everybody. They don't just blast it out on email. And they call each person specifically and give them a specific reason on why they thought of them. So I don't know what the percentage is, but I know last time I talked to Sarah, I think you guys had 5 new sales. This was back in January, maybe? No?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. There was a month where we got about 3 or 4. Sometimes you get 1 or 2. It really depends. What's super important about that is making sure that you have very detailed notes. If not every salesperson is putting in detailed notes, then it's really difficult to remember that. Well, for us, because we have so many people coming through, and personally, my memory isn't great, so I take detailed notes for that reason. I'll even say, oh my gosh, I remember that you rode your bike in, and like even things like that, and it makes it very, very personal to them. So it's important to really get detailed in that area.
So those are great tips, and I hope that you guys are all, yeah, Lisa just gave you a thumbs up because that is such a good strategy. like I said, you've already done the work. You've already built the relationship. They are making that payment over the phone at that time. Is that right?
I'm sorry?
They are making the payment if they decide that they want to become a member. While you're on the phone with them, that's when you take payment.
We try, but that's when I'll do a final complimentary session. That way they don't feel like they're just whipping out a credit card and they have to, you know, so if they're like, well, that sounds okay, then I'll say, well, why don't you come in? We have an opening at this time this week, and it'll be within that time period and we can still get you in. And then they can sign all of the membership agreements and all of that.
Awesome. That's great. I hope everybody kind of took notes on that, because that can be a game changer. I mean, 2 to 3, I mean, she's like, hey, you know, it depends. Sometimes we had 2, sometimes we had 5, but that's 2 to 5 extra sales that you can make just on the follow-up. That's just fantastic. So a great use of your time and a great use of your energy and manpower there. So very cool. So Steve, I hope that helps kind of with you and your questions there. I got some head nods from others.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Like we experienced the same thing. We used to do the 2 free sessions like, you know, a year and a half ago, and then we realized everyone was signing on the first one anyway. So then we just stopped even offering second ones. But I like that, Marisol. That's really good. We're gonna keep a list of like people who didn't close and then call them, and then I think that's really, really great. Keeping detailed notes.
I also, if they don't sign and they're kind of saying, I don't know, I'm thinking about it, I ask if I can call them in a week or 2. And then I put a task in my calendar to call that specific person.
Awesome. Thank you for those tips. Anybody else have tips or questions about, that was a great question, led to some awesome discussion there. Did anybody have any ideas or questions about that first appointment, whether it be the wellness assessment or the flip book and how to use the flip book? Is anybody doing this online yet? Not yet?
We're going to start, I think. We're just doing our best we're calling members right now and seeing if they're going to stay active for a month for us. And there's a lot that's going into that, so.
Yep. So as we were discussing from a corporate standpoint with lead gen involved and then also with marketing involved and the education team behind that, we already have the sales process intact. We just need to mobilize it. And one of the things that I can see coming out of this big, huge, crazy time is a better way or a more streamlined way to get our message out in a higher level of education and an easier and more user-friendly for a person to see what we have to offer without having to come in for that extended period of time. We might be able to shorten down because of the technology that we're building in this system, because of what's going on. We might be able to shorten down that first appointment so that we can really key into being able to take more appointments, by using some of the technology that we're putting into place. This might be really a really great thing for us down the road. So we are putting in place a tour, a flip book. You can either do your flip book with them over the phone or in a video setting. A lot of our demographic don't know how to, do this. And so just giving them a link to click so that they can see somebody doing the flip book and explaining the flip book, putting the wellness assessment through Zoho so that you can have an opportunity to just build that right into your Scipio so that when a person sets an appointment from your ClickFunnels or Loudroom or whatever it is that you're doing, it shoots them to a wellness assessment right away so that you can call them and say, hey, sounds to me like you're a great candidate for OsteoStrong. Sounds like this could really help you. Tell me more about this, tell me more about that. I'm gonna send you a link to our flipbook so that you can see how OsteoStrong can work to meet those needs. and then I'm going to follow up with you, or some type. I don't know what the whole process looks like, but I know that we're mobilizing it so that it's so easy to use from home. So the goal is to have 50 new sales before you reopen, and then a strategy to work those new sales into your reopening strategy. That's what I'd love to see. The tools are all there, but we just have some computering to do. I think that's a word. That's a word, right? Computering to do on it. So, that's coming from the most technologically advanced person on earth. I just figured out Ring Central for you. That's it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about last week. I want to know some celebrations. Okay, so let's bring out some celebrations. What are you hearing from your members? What are you hearing? What are you doing as a team that is revving up your culture, that's keeping you guys strong, and that's keeping you focused and pushing forward? We already heard a little bit from Marisol that they are dividing their members in half, and they are calling their members and sending out, love messages and checking in with them. What else are you guys doing that is bringing energy to the world right now and hope to the world right now?
We've also created a lot of online content for people to log into, whether they're, I filmed a few workouts with Greg. One of our coaches filmed some yoga classes. And then we have members that are presenting as their contribution to keeping us open, like an energy healer, a nutritionist, different types of people in the wellness industry are coming together that are already part of our membership to help us put some content out.
That's awesome. I saw your lineup, and so I'm excited to get in on those. Those look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We are preparing a landing page on our site for X3. So we have some small videos of Alexandros, who is a session coach, and he's an expert in X3. He will do them tomorrow. Actually post some X3 videos there in order to sell some X3s actually, and show how people can work out at home like 10 minutes per day. Focusing on this and on some webinars that will be starting at the end of this week about nutrition, and all these things. And also we're trying to copy the Swedes in their last webinar that they did. Actually, we got the PowerPoint and we're trying to figure out the Swedish to Greek Google translation in order to do it also.
Awesome.
Slow procedure, but I think because it will take some time that will be closed, I think there are things that need to be done. But as I told you before, I think it will be here in Greece, as I see things, at least 2 months till we reopen again. So things need to be done in these 2 months. Otherwise, it will really be starting from scratch in the beginning again.
That's right. That's right. Those are great ideas. I love the idea of the X3, doing some stuff with that. You can leave messages with that.
Yes. I think it's a good period to promote X3 now.
Yeah.
For at home gymnastics, yes. Workout.
That's very smart. Anybody else have anything that you're doing to stay connected to your members, keep your members connected to you, and provide some hope for people? Some live videos. How many of you guys have gone live? I'm going to encourage you to go live, even if it's just for even 1 minute, just to say how much you love everybody, just to give a little bit of energy to people.
As I told you last time, we also call them, give them calls, direct calls. So I think by this week we'll be finished. Everybody's so excited to hear from us. I mean, just for the being interested on how they're doing, because in Greece everybody's at home, nobody's going out, so they want to hear some familiar voices, even by phone. And this this means something to them. Yes.
I know, human interaction. It's so fun right now. We're like, craving it. So I have to share a really good idea that Christine had. And it goes back to the 1900s before we had cell phones. It was when the phone actually connected to the wall. Some of you don't even remember this time, and it was a cord. There's a whole thing to it. But in order for people to get a hold of you, they would have to call. Like, you wouldn't hear news unless somebody called you and told you the news, right? So, or local gossip or prayer chain is what I think the church called it, right? So somebody would call and and you were so far on the list on this prayer chain. So I would get a call from Jamie. Jamie would tell me what I need to know, and then my job was to call Marilyn. Okay, so I was after Jamie, but before Marilyn in this chain. And every time something came through, this is how we learned that we wouldn't have school the next day. This is how we learned that something was closed. This is how we learned that somebody needed prayed for, whatever. So this is the chain, right? So Christine, she was like, what if we started this chain again? What if you had your members like say, hey, I want to be a part of this chain. I want a phone call every day, or a text, just a friendly text. And then I want to text somebody else. So I don't know how to necessarily start it. I mean, it was easy back then. Why is it so hard now? But to be able to say, okay, I'm going to start this, and I'm going to call this person, and then this person's going to call this person. And so, or just a text, but every day you would be receiving a text and sending a text, or receiving a phone call and sending a phone call. You might meet somebody new. You might provide encouragement in a place where nobody really knew that they needed encouraged. In a dark, dark place, that text might come through at just the right time. But some type of chain that's like pretty old school, but people need right now, because we're connected, but we're settling for crumbs of connection in a time that we need deep love, right? So this is something that can keep us just connected, but connected deeper, and show love. So that was something that Christine had said. Also, giving a chance to get your team together to go volunteer in places. So right now, food pantries need stocked. Is there a way that you can put your team together to do a we can overcome this, we can survive, we can beat Corona, we can drive, right? Where everybody comes and they leave some canned goods, and you go and take them to the pantry, or whatever the case is. But doing a food drive. We also know that this time right now can be a very dark and hard time for domestic violence. This is really heavy on my heart. There are kids that can't go to school, which their school is their safe place. Their homes are not safe for them. There are people losing their jobs right now, and their financial strain is causing an incredible emotional backlash in their homes, and domestic violence has skyrocketed, and it will continue. And so these safe houses, they need more water. They need water bottles. These safe houses need toilet paper. The safe houses need Kleenexes. The safe houses need maybe new bed sheets. They need, so there's some things that safe houses, if you want to connect with your local RDAP, rape and domestic abuse program, and see if you can do a drive for the safe houses right now. Kind of wrap people around a common, purpose or a cause right now. Get your members involved in focusing on giving. A Bible school lesson that I just did with my kids on Sunday was that happiness comes from happenings. Happiness comes from happenings, but joy comes from your heart giving to others and doing for others and loving others. And happenings right now are not a good thing. So our happiness is down, but our joy can still be brought up so high by doing something good for other people. So it's important that we get our members and our staff wrapped around doing good for others, so that we can get our joy lifted. right? So we can feel that. And so if you can, as a staff or as your, rally the members to do something good for your community, this can be a huge thing. Take pictures of that, post it on your social media, let others, those are feel good stories. Those are culture building, hope giving action items that can be done right now in a time of need. And the person who gives the most hope is the person that eventually will have the most influence. And if you want influence in your area, you got to provide the most hope for people. So, or that's how I see it anyway. But brainstorm, come together. Is there something that you can do for the greater good that can really advance the culture and just the emotional status of the world right now? So, all right, guys. Anything else for today, or any thoughts on that, or anything that we've discussed today before we pop off and get to work?
Tammy,
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm Lisa. I'm actually over at OsteoStrong Northeast.
Great to meet you, Lisa.
Great to meet you too. Did you reference a particular organization that oversaw the safe houses?
I think it's probably different in different areas. I'm in the Midwest, and so the one that kind of reaches out to me and that I've worked with all through high school, I did presentations for them all the way through, but RDAP, Rape and Domestic Abuse, RDAP.
RDAP.
RDAP, and that's Midwest. I'm sure that if you did a Google search, if you even put out to your members, hey, this is something that we'd like to do for safe houses here. Does anybody know of one? DM me, message me, let me know, because there might be one that's close to a member's heart, or a couple that's close to a member's heart that you want to do that for. So yeah, just ask around, but yeah, RDAP is here in the Midwest. I'm not sure where it would be in the Northeast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm glad you're a part of that team, Lisa. That's a phenomenal team.
Me too.
No, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I've had amazing success with the program.
Oh, good. Like what? Tell us.
So I guess the short version is I had been ill for a very long period of time with a combination of autoimmune disease and an acute pituitary hemorrhage, and ultimately a Lyme infection that combined knocked me out of life for about 7 years. And I found out about OsteoStrong from, this is hard to talk about.
I don't want to put you on the spot, Lisa.
No, it's okay. I found out about OsteoStrong from a woman who was in an online chronic illness support group who lived down in the Gulf Coast. And she referenced it casually in a comment about gut healing and osteoporosis. And I ended up connecting with her and just went online to see if there was an OsteoStrong near me, and there wasn't. And so I just kept checking the website repeatedly until it popped up that it was coming to Fairfield County. And I was there when it opened. And within the first 6 months I was there, I had a 250% gain in strength. And my quality of life just improved tremendously in too many ways for me to mention here.
That's amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing your story on such short notice in front of all these people. No,
that's okay. The credit goes to Stephen McKenzie. Truly, they together changed my quality of life, and joining them on this journey just felt like a really organic transition.
Oh, well, I'm so glad to have you part of the OsteoStrong family.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
And good job, Kenzie and Steve.
Ooh.
Remember,
She's come a long
We're
way.
so
She's
lucky that,
learning a lot now, and we're excited to have her.
yeah, she has brought tears to my eyes. We're so lucky to have her on the
Yeah.
team now.
And I'm holding them back.
oh, awesome. That's what it's all about. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. Hey, so on that note, see, look, golly, we needed that, right? We needed the reminder of how many lives that we change on a regular basis and how good OsteoStrong is and just the force that we can be in this world. So, yay for that. Oh, my heart's all happy now. Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on this meeting today. The recording will be available for you in the group. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, please shoot them over to me at tammy@osteostrong.me. We are looking for ways to serve you at the highest level, of course, from the corporate standpoint, and want to do the best that we can for you. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again Friday for another Power Hour. High fives and hugs.
Tammy,
Thank you, Tammy.
I'm still confused. I was checking different links to log on, Power Hour versus Win Call. So I don't even know which one this is.
Okay, this one's Power Hour,
Okay.
and we got to stay here. Even for Win, we got to move it over to here because we've opened up both things. Right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's stay on this link. And Ring Central is being overloaded with everybody who's trying to work from home right now. And so sometimes you can't get on that first time. Try again.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.